What is going on, y'all? Jimbo is back. Yep, I kind of bullshitted y'all when I said I was going to be back about a month ago, but I just really didn't have the urge to make any videos. I mean, OP13 was coming right around the corner, and I didn't really want to make any more OP12 videos, because, you know, OP13 changes the game completely. I mean, it's a whole meta warp. You know, I mean, that is kind of the case with every anniversary set, but this time I think it's definitely the most groundbreaking compared to the rest. I mean, there's 3 or 4 new best decks in the game. I mean, it's kind of insane, but regardless, I'm back. We're going to start off with Red Blue Ace today. It's definitely the one I wanted to play the most, and it's a really weird deck, to be honest. I mean, it's, you know, drawing a shit ton of cards, you know, playing out Big Bunga, and just drawing more. You know, I'm gonna have like 12 cards in hand for most of the game, and it's just really, it's a really stupid deck. And it's a top dog for a reason. But before we get into that, y'all hit that like button, hit that sub button. You know what to do. It's been a long time since I said that. Let's just get into it. Alrighty, y'all. So we got the deck pulled up here. Obviously, we got to start off with the leader, the main part of a deck. Red blue, 6k power, 3 life, ace. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, you can trash a card from your hand, any card. Give a character or leader minus 2k for the battle. Very strong. It's a lot like blue yellow Nami. Just trashing any card from your hand for a 2k buff. You know, you can trash any card. You know, this deck can't afford to run a lot of bricks now. You know, you can trash any card from your hand, make it a 2k. Very strong. And then Dawn X1 once per turn, if you take a damage or a 6k base power or more is KO'd, you draw a card. And there's some very stupid interaction with a couple of these cards with KOing and stuff. So that's kind of why this deck is so strong. But anyway, the real deck, starting off. Alrighty, first up, probably the reason why this deck is so consistent, the Garp. On play, if your leader's Luffy, Sabo, or Ace, your Ace, look at 4 from the top of your deck, reveal any card with a cost of 3 or more added to your hand. Pretty damn good if you ask me. You can add Red Rock, you can add Marco blockers, you can add Jozus, you can add Pudding in this deck. Pretty good if you ask me. Nothing really more to explain, just a super consistent searcher, add pretty much any piece of your deck. This deck's kind of about putting all the puzzle pieces together and just winning on the spot if you find them all, because it's not really ever a bad thing to do so. I mean, there's kind of is just one general game plan with this deck. I would like to say this is the most linear top dog of the meta. You know, Emu and Zoro can kind of have, you know, their own kind of thing going on in certain situations, but this is just does one thing, but it's always good. That's kind of the difference with this deck. But anyway, going on, a couple 2Ks here. We got the Jozu from O2. Dawn X1 if you have 2 or less life and you lose Whitebeard, obviously. It gets Rush, just a strong card. You know, this card's really good against Emu with, you know, all the blockers they drop. This is a really good game ender for that, because a lot, at least in my experiences, I feel like I'm always like 1 or 2 swings away from just winning the game on the spot. So this can definitely help mitigate that, you know, get a good, like maybe a 7-cost 7k rush. You know, if you have really nothing else to do with your Dawn, it's a play. Next up, we got the Uta from the Shanks deck. 6-cost 4k 2k counter. If you have a character with 10k power or more, give this card in your hand minus 4 cost. Pretty good. I mean, there is a few 10k or higher bodies in this deck. You can even just attach a bunch of Dawn to like one of your 6ks and make it 10k and just play it out for 2. It doesn't say base power, so it could definitely come up. There is a nasty combo in this deck that I would like to show you here in a second, but this card's very, you know, vital to you know, the main super stupid combo that this deck has to offer. So other than that, it's just a 2k. It's only searchable by Garp, but you know, whatever. Next up, we got the Newgate from O2. Only 1 copy. You can definitely run 2. I know a lot of people run 2, but this is just a list that I find myself comfortable with myself. 9 cost 10k. on play, your leader becomes 8k till your next turn. Then you can't add cards from your life. That part's not really important. And then Donix 2, when attacking, KO a 3k or less power character. So, you know, you play this out for 9. You have your last Dawn, you attach it to your leader. You have your leader ability and you're an 8k leader. Pretty good. But typically this is the secondary card you want to play off of the main event in this deck, which we'll go into here in just a second. But regardless, strong card. You can see how strong this card really is. I mean, it's a card from the beginning of the game and it's still good to this day. It says a lot, but really good card. Nothing really else to say there. And then of course you have to run Roger. This card was printed a year ago, but now is the time to play it. 10 cost, 13k, has rush, and then if your opponent activates blocker, if you or your opponent have 0 life, you win the game on the spot. GG. This card's stupid against Emu. I mean, this is the only way to really beat Emu, like on the spot like that. It's very hard to just beat Emu in just a matter of a couple turns. It's definitely a grindier game if you want to beat Emu. But next up, we got the Tama from the new set. On play, if you have 3 or less life, draw 2 and trash 1. For 1 cost, pretty good. I mean, this card is the reason why Nami Leader got banned, but I mean, it's a good card. You're gonna be at 3 or less life, and you're gonna be filtering. You know, this deck, once again, it's about, you know, finding the pieces to the perfect puzzle and just kind of winning on the spot by doing that. So you want to just get as far as you can into your deck to find those pieces, and this definitely, you know, helps with that, and also gives you some options to, you know, get rid of stuff you don't want. So really strong card nonetheless. Also 2k, busted. I think it's a super good stable for every blue deck moving forward. And then we got the Ezo from the Acebeard deck. On play, top 5, add a Whitebeard. And then on your opponent's attack, trash the character, draw 1, and place 1 card from your hand to the bottom. Once again, dig further into your deck, find exactly what you need to win the game. And, I mean, it's a searcher. Nothing really else to say there. Then we got the Vista from Acebeard deck. Just a 1-cost blocker. I mean, it's just a card to play out. If you don't have the Uta in your hand, playing out this Vista instead is also very, very strong. Say with this event here, you play out the Newgate. I'm going to show you here in a second. If you play this card and you don't have this in your hand, you can just play this out and then attach it onto your leader. So it works out pretty well. But it's a super cheap blocker. You know, Emu probably won't get rid of it unless it's like the only threatening thing on your board. But you know, regardless, it's a blocker. You know, blocker's still good this day. Then we got Whitey Bay from Acebeard deck again. Your turn on play, reveal 2 Whitebeard cards in your hand, and then give a leader with Whitebeard type plus 2k for the turn. This is a pretty decent card. I know people are playing the 2k Thatch from, I believe it's ST15. It's the original red Newgate deck that was printed about a year ago. But I think this card's better, personally. I think this card's a lot better to bounce for the cost of Jozu, which we'll get into here in a second, but it's a 2k. I mean, it's a strong 2k that can definitely work, and, you know, it's good. And then I probably won't even get into it. Putting your opponent puts their hand to their deck and draws 5. GG. Good S card. I'm not really going to say anything else. You're running it. You're playing a blue deck. You play blue card. Done. Then we got Atmos from 08. On play, reveal 2 Whitebeard cards in your hand. If your leader's Whitebeard type, bounce a 4 or less to the owner's hand. One of your opponents, actually, is you can't bounce like a searcher or something of your own. It's just a strong tempo play. This card's really good against Zoro and the mirror match. You know, with the mirror match, you can bounce this Marco, which we'll get into here in just a second. But against Zoro, you can bounce that 4-cost Zoro. You can bounce Kuina if you really want to. It's a strong, good little tempo play. You do have to reveal 2 in your hand, but you know, sometimes it's worth it. And then the reason why this deck is so stupid, the Marco from PRB2. It's a blocker on KO draw 2. Pretty damn good. I mean, I really have nothing else to say. I mean, this card is like at absolute minimum at a 2 of in every single blue deck. At least from stuff I've seen. It's even going in Snake Man in Japan. That says a lot. I mean, Snake Man doesn't really run cards like these, so it's just such a strong card. And this being KO'd with your leader ability, you're drawing 3. I forgot. I didn't even mention that. I'm surprised that wasn't even the first thing I said, but, you know, gotta save the best part of it for last. This is the reason why this deck is so stupid. You're just drawing 3 just by blocking. Pretty good. But anyway, going on next, we got the Yamato from the new set. On play, if you have 3 or less life, you draw 2 and then give a rested on to your leader. I think this is the most underrated card in the deck. People don't really value this card enough. I mean, this deck, you can kind of just tell with everything. This deck loves going second, and this kind of helps with that turn 3 of that unfortunate going first curve. You know, on 5, you play this, draw 2, and just attach it on the leader. Boom, your leader effect is live, and you know, things are looking good. You know, really strong turn 3 play. This is also generic, so you can put this in other decks if you want, but that's for your own thing to experience and try out. But really strong card, I think. And then we're playing a blue Whitebeard deck. You have to run Jozu. 6 cost, 7k. On play, return one of your characters to the hand. Return a 6 or lower to the owner's hand. Strong, just such a strong tempo play. It's just kind of like Atmos on steroids. It's a really strong card. I mean, you bounce the Garp. Yeah, say you bounce the Garp Searcher and like bounce your opponent's maybe like a Toshigi, or I don't know if you want to do that, but bounce maybe like their Cavendish or their Law Blocker. Again, I don't really know what else you would do there, but you know, against a lot of other matchups, this card's very strong. You know, this card has been strong ever since it came out. You know, blue wasn't really a thing when this card like just came out in the new set. Like 08, blue was garbage until the Dofi deck came out, and then this was at 4 of in every single blue deck moving forward, because people realized, hey, this card's really stupid if, you know, I have a board really early on. And obviously Dofi was really good at doing that. So, you know, playing this out, bounce a card to hand, you know, really good tempo play. Next up, we got the Tenbeard from 08. On play, if your leader's Whitebeard type, you have 2 or less life until the end of your opponent's next turn. Their characters cannot attack unless they trash 2 from their hand for each attack. This card's very, very strong to kind of just win on the spot against like Emu maybe. It really just a fact of whether they have another Gorosei 10-drop or not. That's kind of the deciding factor of the game. You know, if you play this out and they don't have another one, you're in a really good spot. You know, this is a very, very situational card. That's why I would only run it at 1 personally. Some people can run it at 2. You know, it really depends. You know, if against maybe something like Zoro wouldn't really work because it doesn't really affect your opponent's leader. But there's definitely a lot of matchups where this card can be, you know, super dominant and just kind of destroy everything. Next up, we got the new Tenbeard from the new set. Blocker, on play, draw 2, trash 1, and then give your leader and one of your characters 2 Rested Dawn cards each. So you tap 10, draw 2, trash 1, attach 2 Dawn to your leader and 2 Dawn to a character. Whoa, a 6 cost 12k queen blocker, pretty much. Hot damn. Holy. This is one of the best cards I think I've ever read. I'm not even joking. If this card was printed maybe back in like the first year of the game, this card would be banned. I think this card would definitely have the potential to be banned back in the day. Obviously, not really nowadays because of stupid power creep, but this card is stupid. It reminds me a lot of the 10 cost Blackbeard from last anniversary. You know, just a 10 cost 12k blocker is hard to come by, and when you get it, it's very good. I mean, nothing really else to say. Really strong card. And for the events, we just have 2 Red Rock, main place character at the bottom of those deck. Really good against the mirror match, you know, bottom deck, that one character they played this turn. Yeah, strong card. I mean, it's a year 1 card, and it's still run to this day, which says a lot. Trigger bottom deck's 4, that could maybe come up. And then the heart and soul of this deck, in my opinion, I am Whitebeard. 8 cost event. That's hard to come by. Main, if your leaders wipe your pirate's type, play any Edward Newgate from your hand, and then you can take a life. You may take a life. And if you do, your leader becomes plus 2k power to your next turn. It may not seem that strong, but just wait for the combo. So say you play this out for 8. This is on your 10 Dawn turn. You play this out for 8. Play out the blocker Newgate. You draw 2 trash one, attach shoot on to your leader, attach shoot on to maybe like a Yamato or something. And then you have 2 more Dawn left. Play out Uda. You play out a 12k blocker, a 4k blocker. You know, cost is a bit more relevant nowadays. So being a 6 cost, pretty good. I'm trying to think of the actual math. I don't know. I might put it in, you know, post editing, but you get a lot of Dawn for only 10. So that's kind of the combo. You know, you could also play out Vista, attach another Dawn to leader. It could definitely happen, but this card's super strong. And also a little fun little thing. If you play this out with this, you can become a 10k leader for the turn. I'm just saying, it's pretty funny, but that is going to do it for, you know, Ace. I mean, it's a strong deck nonetheless. You're just drawing a shit ton of cards and just like never dying. I mean, obviously a pudding would just absolutely end your life, but and against anything else, you're completely chilling. But I'm gonna show you guys some tech cards real quick. You know, some other cards that you may want to throw in. You know, if you want to use this as kind of a starting point to kind of learn the deck, I'm gonna, you know, show you guys some just other pieces of a card pool that you can maybe put in here if it's something you're maybe more comfortable with. Alrighty, so we got a couple tech options pulled up here. Starting off, you can always run the red Ezo as well. Just look exactly the same as the blue Ezo. Looks the top 5 out of Whitebeard card. But it doesn't have the other part of the effect to get a filter. But it sacrifices itself for, you know, 2k power instead. So kind of depending on what you're comfortable with. Typically the blue one is chosen significantly more than the red one, but and also if you want to play this deck moving forward, this card's going to be out of the format soon, so you're gonna have to be stuck with the blue one, unfortunately. But it's definitely a card you can run for sure. And then we got the 2k Tatch. I know a lot of people are playing this card. On play, if your leader's wiper type, give a character minus 2k for the turn, and then add a life card. It feels pretty costly. I mean, if this deck, well, I mean, if this deck could heal, I'd say would be a little much. I don't even really want to think about that, but I know a lot of competitive lists are playing this card. I'm not 100% sure why, but it's definitely a card you can run. You know, if it's something you're comfortable with playing, go for it. We got the 6 cost 7k Yamato. I know a lot of earlier competitive lists played this card. Activate main once per turn. If your leader has Wana or is Ace, obviously, give a Rested Dawn to your leader, and then the character gets Rush. Strong card. And also, you can attach the Dawn for every single turn after that, so because it's activate main. Attach a Dawn, and then this character gains Rush, but that doesn't matter. You know, playing this out just on the field, I mean, you're attaching an extra Dawn to your leader for the rest of the game. Very strong card. Gets Rush, really good against Emu. This card could definitely be run, but just the fact that it's a brick just kind of makes it a little but regardless, obviously I'm going to skip over the Nami here. This Ace is a very similar effect. If you have 3 or less life, this character gains Rush. On play, give a Rested Dawn to your leader. Sounds about the same. Then return a character with a cost of 5 or less of your opponents to their hand, and then if you do, they may play a 4 or less from their hand. Feels kind of counterintuitive to what you're kind of doing. You know, getting rid of board as, you know, as much as you can while you have the chance. I mean, this card kind of can do it. If it played the 4 or less rested, then we'd be talking about something here, but I just don't think this card is strong. I really don't think it is. I think if it's either of these, you play this Yamato, but obviously this Ace is going to be a lot more budget friendly. You know, this Yamato is from an EB set. It's quite expensive, but I definitely would run this over the Ace. But anyway, we got the Nami from 11, set 11, blocker, on play for leaders multicolored, draw 3, and then place 2 on the top or bottom of your deck. Such a strong blue card. I mean, there's really nothing else to say there. I mean, strong card. I'm getting to a couple events here. Starting off with the Rad Beam. It's a plus 4k boost pretty much the whole game. This card's very easy to, you know, meet the requirements. You know, you're at 3 life, you need 2 life to make it a 4k boost. Done. It's not searchable by anything, but it's definitely a card you can run 100%. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind trying it myself. And then some OP13 cards that are meant for this leader. A long event name I'm not going to get into. 1 cost, main, rested on card, so it's technically a 2 cost. If you have 1 less life when your leader attacks, your opponent cannot block during this turn. I should say, I think this is worded wrong. I think this says your opponent cannot block when your leader attacks during this turn. I think that's what that is meant to say. So during the turn you play this card, your opponent cannot activate blocker only when your leader attacks. You know, I used to think that when your leader attacks, your opponent just can't activate blocker for the rest of the turn. But that's not the case, so it's only for leader. But it's also a counter, you know, plus 3k boost. It's also searchable from the EZO. Strong card. Then we got the Phoenix Pyre Apple. Main, rested on card. Place a 3k or less to the bottom of the deck. It's alright. And then counter plus 3k. This is definitely more of a Marco card, I can't lie. But it's a card you can run if you really want to. And then, why would I talk about blue without talking about Grab Blade here? 7 costs. Place 2 6 or less at the bottom of the deck. Strong card. Nothing really else to say there. But that is going to do it for, you know, a couple tech options, you know, for this deck. But we're going to get into a couple games against, you know, decks like Red Black Sabo, Emu, and Roger. Alrighty, so first game up against Red Black Sabo. This is an unfortunate, like, turn of events. I mean, you can see how good my hand is, but Sabo's just kind of a bad matchup. I cannot lie. So I'm just going to start off with the Garp Search, add a Blockbeard. You know, the pieces are almost met. I just need to, if I can find a 8-drop event, we should be looking good. But unfortunately, you know, the cards that Sabo plays is just really good against me. So start off with an EZO Search. We add the final piece of the puzzle. We are good for the next 4 turns, something like that. So we're just going to do an 8k lead. They take. Heading on to Sabo's 4-on turn. I'm going to start off with a Stage Search ability, add a Sabo, I believe the new one, yep. And then a big swing on the leader. I'm just going to use that EZO, get a bit of filter going. I don't see myself needing the Tax Beard this turn, or actually for the whole game, matter of fact. But going on our 5-on turn, play out that Yamato, like I said, the perfect going first card. And then a 7k lead, they're down to 3 life. You know, obviously they want to be at 3 life, because if Saba has 4 more life, they become a 4k leader. So that's definitely very annoying there. 7k to my 6k, free leader ability pretty much. Get rid of a Vista blocker. Don't see myself needing that anytime soon. Get some good swings in. Swing 6. They counter 2, which, you know, says a thing or two. But you can kind of see how bricked up my hand is. I mean, what is that? 6 non-counter in hand, and only 2 2Ks in hand, and 11 cards in hand. You know, just kind of that ratio is just kind of weird. But I'm gonna try to get some more counter with that Otama, get some filter in, and then they drop that Rush Dragon. I was not expecting that to be dropped on the 8-on turn, but very bad stuff going on here. Swing an 8 at that Yamato. I want to try and force them to try and kill it. Another 8 at the Yamato. Let it die. Draw a card. 10k lead. Take it. And then at this point in time, I'm going to drop that I'm Whitebeard event. You can just kind of see with this stuff, we're kind of back in the game in a matter of an instant. So I'm going to get rid of that Jozu. Don't see myself needing it. I cannot bounce his Sabo since it becomes an 8 cost on the board. I'm going to get double 8k swings on leader and then drop a Vista blocker and just pass. And then here is where things get bad. Stusty pop my Newgate. Yeah, now I'm cooked. Especially with the board state that they got. Just like, it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm dead. And I'm at 1 life. Things are not looking good. Once again, I want to try and kind of force swings onto my characters. An 8k there, I'm just going to block, and then that dragon, you can definitely get that one. I'm going to start off with that Whitebeard event, play out another beard, attached to that, I guess, doesn't really do anything. I'm going to swing a big 9k on the lead, they take down to 1 life. I'm going to play out that guard, possibly find another card to play. Got another Whitebeard event. So, assuming that things, you know, yeah. But, I mean, I'm not even going to finish that sentence there. I was going to say, if we played another Blockbeard out, we just kind of win. But, another Stuzzy. And you can just kind of see the board states kind of looking like tumbleweeds. Big swings on life, and I don't really have much of a hand either. 10, counter. And then I have literally no other option but to just drop a Roger and just hope for the best. Doesn't really matter. You just kind of say at that point, yeah. That's a scary board, if you ask me. That's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 10k swings. That's dumb. But, you know, it's kind of unfortunate, you know. Ace typically doesn't have too much of a bad matchup against pretty much everything, but this deck is kind of abysmal, especially if they see Stussies like that. But that doesn't matter. We move on. You know, we figure out, you know, how to learn these matchups. We're gonna head into the next game. Alrighty, next up against Emu. Typically there is a triangle going on with this deck. You know, Ace beats Emu, Emu beats Zoro, Zoro beats Ace. And it just kind of forms a little triangle. That is until there is a promo Roger that comes around. That is coming out in December, I believe. And that makes 2 other decks kind of come into the game with Snake Man again. And Red Purple Roger, which is a deck that I really want to try out myself. You know, I like my big beefy 9k leaders. So I'm just going to start off with a double search. You know, strong... double search, you know, find exactly what I need. Once again, find the puzzle pieces, and we win. I'm gonna start off with a 6k on the leader. I don't need that red rock because pretty much everything in their deck can't really be removed. So, yeah, that's just kind of the reality there. But, you know, I really think Emu is just so broken. It's so annoying as well. Start off with a 6k on the lead. I'm going to drop that plus 3k event. And then I'm going to drop a Marco Blocker and pass. You know, it's not going to get removed because they are not on 6 and they can't play out of Mars. So we are good on that part. So we can definitely block with that whatever we want to. And you can kind of see I have very, you know, good curve coming up. I mean, got the 6 cost, got the 8 cost event, play out the new gate. Looking pretty good. We're going to take that 8k swing, and then they drop a Charlos blocker. It just mills the card. They unfortunately milled a Stussy, so that is huge on our part. So I'm going to draw, going into 6 on turn. I'm just going to drop that Jozu. You know, I know it cannot get KO'd by the Mars, so that's why I wanted to play that over the Yamato I drew for turn. So I want to try my best to get rid of life cards. So I'm going to swing, you know, double 6k on lead. I need to try, like, if I can get Emu down to like 1 or less life by turn 5 on their 10 on turn, we're looking pretty good. But it's very hard to do so. They like countering a little too much. But they're going to drop that Mars, KO my Marco. I get to draw 2, not 3. And they swing 7 at lead. That's a free leader effect there. And then I'm going to do, obviously, the thing. Play out the new gate. Trash that red rock. Don't need it. Attach 2. That's so, it's so strong, dude. I'm going to swing an 8k lead and then a 9k lead. I'm going to block that 8k, and then they're probably going to take that 9k. They're down to 2 life before They're 10 on turn, so we should be looking pretty good. It really just depends on if I can find another Blockbeard. If I can find another Blockbeard, I'm just kind of winning on the spot. But I'm gonna play out a Warcree, swing big. I mean, I don't know why they did it. I'm just gonna block, free block, have a Dawn up for probably a counter event. So I'm gonna start off with kind of, finding the absolute perfect piece to the puzzle. But we just have no other option but to add the Uta. So I'm just gonna start with some swings. I'm looking pretty healthy, and obviously they're not gonna get many swings next turn. So I'm gonna start off with a 7k on the leader. I'm gonna block with that Warcree, draw a card. That card's so strong. Now I'm gonna become a 8k leader, playing out that Redbeard. I'm gonna swing a 9k swing and a 12k swing. They're down to 1 life. Looking pretty good on our side. And then they're gonna do the thing. Not even really gonna get into it. Play out the Power Rangers is what I like to call them. Get a search, get a KO, get rush, get your characters big, get a strong blocker to draw a card. They all just do such stupid stuff. And they're going to swing huge at that new gate. And I have no other option but to counter out. I mean, I'm going to trash that Yamato. Don't see myself needing it anytime soon. And plus 2k. And then at that point, it's just kind of over on the spot. You can kind of see there's only a 2k and 1k in their hand. So if I swing good enough numbers, I'm winning. But yeah, I mean, Ace definitely can be emu at times, but it can definitely be a huge uphill battle at times. It really depends on, obviously, curve, finding, what pieces you find and which ones you don't. If emu can, get further in their deck enough to, get all the characters in their trash needed for the 10 drop. But, there's a whole lot of things that go into matchups, but we're going to head into the next game against Roger. Alrighty, next game going up against Red Purple Roger. Now this deck is very strange, but we are going first, unfortunately. But we got a Yamato, perfect turn 3, and I really have no other option but to swing absolutely huge on the lead, get a life out of there. They get a God Thread trigger, which I was not expecting one bit, and then they play out an All-Star Calamity. I don't know what's going on with that deck, but they're ramping super fast. I'm going to play out that Yamato and swing at lead. They counter. They are on 10 Dawn on turn 3. That's what this deck does, folks. Absolute hyper ramp. Big 9 at lead. I'm going to counter out. Going on to 7 Dawn. I honestly don't really know what to do here. Probably bounce maybe one of those bullets to hand, but I really don't see myself needing to do so. I'm gonna swing 7k lead and then 8k lead. They take the first one and counter out of the second one. So now they got 2 6k bodies on the board, plus the promo Shanks you can see right here, a little bit above me. On play, when attacking, your opponent cannot block for the turn. This card is not out in English yet, so I wasn't really expecting this card whatsoever, but this card is strong. Very, very strong. There's really nothing else to say. It's a full Jambe for an entire turn on a card, which is just something. But you swing, swing, swing. Just pretty much free countering and stuff. I don't know why I trashed that attack spirit. I definitely think that card would be good in this matchup, but I did end up red rocking that Shanks, top decking it, matter of fact, which is huge. So I'm definitely looking pretty good here. Play out a Garb Searcher, out of Marco, and just pass the turn. I really don't know what to expect here. They drop that promo Roger coming out next month. I'm gonna block, draw 3, boom. And now I have the pieces of the puzzle ready. Unfortunately, they're a 9k leader. I can't really do anything about it. I can attach the rest of the Dawn, just kind of, poke little swings at them at a time. Just get stuff out of hand. Gonna swing at my leader, minus it, swing 10 at leader, block, play out that shank, swing 12, take. I have 13 in hand. So I'm really just asking for no 10-drop Roger, please. That's literally all I want. Attach 2, attach 2. Let's swing 7k and 9k onto leader. Actually 7k, 8k. And then I'm going to drop that Uda blocker. Boom! That's the combo I'm looking for. I told y'all I would show up. But now they're kind of in a pickle. I mean, I could just free block pretty much everything they throw at me. But that 12k, block with that Uta, swing 9 at lead, just block, thank you. And I have no other option but to probably just play out that Roger. You know, but I have a shit ton of counter in hand. You can just see I have 5 2ks in hand. And I might even think about potentially just dropping that Newgate, just hard casting it, even though I don't have a Whitebeard event. You know, I'm kind of thinking about dawning out. You know, it's very hard to, you know, dawn correctly when your opponent has a 9k leader. But I end up just red rocking that shanks and just swinging big onto leader, hopefully getting a card out of hand. Yep. And then I'm gonna swing probably a 12. Nope, I'm just gonna pass and just kind of hope for no Roger. You know, it's definitely risky, but it's definitely worth the investment in the end if they don't have one. They definitely would have dropped it by now, but I definitely think I would be able to counter out of everything, even if they did drop a Roger. But swing 11 at lead. I'm going to leader effect and trash 2. They're gonna All-Star Calamity, draw a card. Just kind of filter out the hand. They're gonna swing 9 at leader. I'm just gonna block, and then at 12, just block 1k. And then I'm gonna drop that Roger to just pretty much win on the spot this turn. You know, considering they're 7k. Yep, gonna drop that Roger. Just swing, swing, swing. I mean, I did do the math before this. It guarantees me that I win. So they can't block. And boom! That is how we beat Roger, fellas. If you play out enough Newgates, you win. It's literally that simple. But we're gonna head into the next game against a Red-Black Sabo, which we did end up winning against. So that's fun. Last game, going up against another Red-Black Sabo. I see a pretty decent hand. I really don't know what else I really need to see against this matchup. I am going second, which is huge. So I'm going to drop that Izo, add a Jozu, and attach it down to lead to potentially get that leader off. We're going to stage, add a Searcher Koala, play outside Searcher Koala, add a Morley, and I'm just going to take that swing. Start a 6k at lead they're going to take. I'm going to drop that marker blocker and pass. Looking pretty good here. It's really just a matter of, do we see another Whitebeard event? But I don't see myself needing that Atmos, so trash it for counter. So I'm actually just going to drop the Yamato this turn. They did block with the hack, KO my Marco, get to draw 3. Swing 7 only, they're going to take down to 3 life, play out that Marco, and pass. Next turn we got a Newgate turn, so that's huge. I'm going to drop that new Sabo. I'm going to leader ability, counter for free, drop that Whitebeard event, play out Newgate, trash Joju, attach 2, and then we got a double 8k on the lead, so that is really gross. They block counter the first one and took the second one. They drop out that Stussy, kind of expected. Looking pretty bad now. We do have a Marco still on the board, so we can still keep getting advantage if that comes up. They end up swinging with that Sabo, and I'm gonna counter out. I don't really want that card to get killed. I want to kind of save everything to just draw a bunch at the end of the game. so I just know I'm not like gonna die at all. So I luckily found another Blockbeard, and I'm gonna just attach, swing 8 and 9. Good thing they swung with that Sabo. You know, it makes the turn a lot more deadly. So, and then they play out a Koala minus my Newgate by 3k. I don't know why, but maybe they're just more likely to not counter out of it if I block with it. But I really don't see myself even blocking at all. But I'm just gonna leader effect, trash that red rock. Don't see myself needing it. 10k at lead. I'm just gonna take, draw a card. And they're going to drop that PRB Sabo, which is very interesting. And I have not really many options here. I don't have, obviously, a Newgate, but, you know, this is also a play that I can definitely do here and drop double Yamato. Draw 4 and attach 2 to leader. Pretty good. I'm going to swing with that Newgate. You know, the board on opponent's end is not really too crazy. Boom, I just drew 4 and swung 8, so... It's really funny, but we're not in Roger territory yet, so we're definitely looking pretty good here. I'm gonna start off with a Betty search, add a new Sabo, play said new Sabo, and if they swing at my leader, I am literally just gonna play out Roger. I mean, I'm gonna proudly take that life card. I definitely don't think I did that in this situation, but definitely would have been the right play. But they just pass. With 3 done up, they obviously don't want me to play out Roger, so makes sense. I really don't know what else to do with this Dawn here. I'm just going to play that Yamato, attach a Dawn. I'm just going to swing minimum numbers, you know, just kind of get smaller pokes in, just slowly grind out the game to just where Sabo can't really do anything. I'm going to swing 9k, and then I'm going to swing 12k at that Sabo, get a blocker off the board, you know, and they really have no other option but to just go for it or they're dead. So, I have a Marco blocker, life card, what's that, 10 in hand? We're looking good. And yeah, at this point, it's just kind of over there. You know, if they swing at my life and somehow don't win, I drop Roger, I win. That's kind of the simple fact there. And they could have dropped that Rush Dragon and possibly could have clutched a victory, but, you know, it's definitely very hard to, you know, figure out that math, especially with Ace's, you know, ability and the amount of 2Ks I can get into the hand. It's very difficult to do, but we're going to head into that post-discussion. Alright, y'all, so Red Blue Ace is a really cool deck. I really like it. You know, I'm drawing enough cards to kill somebody, to probably drown somebody in cardboard, but the deck is super strong. I mean, you're drawing 3+ every single turn, and there's really nothing your opponent can do about it unless they're also playing blue. You know, it's something that can't really be stopped, but that's going to do it for the video today. Next up, we're going to go over Red Black Sabo, so y'all stay tuned for that. I know there's a lot of copers out there. Yes, I damn right said it. But I hope y'all enjoyed. We are out of here.